Guys, good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
So much of this movie is about a watershed moment in your life where everything came before and after, where you can sort of pinpoint, this is when my life shifted that got me to the place I am right now. If you had to look back at your lives, what was the watershed moment that you could say got you in those two chairs?
Well, I mean, when you say
that too heavy for a
goddess-
junkie question?
No, it's
I
just
just
like-
was looking forward to hearing her answer. I mean, for me, it was just getting this first movie I made with my brothers and Wes Anderson. This movie called
Bottle Rocket.
So,
It's
yes.
so good.
So that, I mean,
it's
that,
so good.
We made a short film, and that would have been when things kind of changed for me. What led you
It was
here?
probably, oddly enough, a play I was going to do in New York that fell through at the last minute, and I ended up going to a dinner with Jessica Lange, who I had done a play with many years prior, and she was about to start a show called American Horror Story, and we were sitting next to Ryan Murphy, and whom I had worked for years ago briefly, and she just sort of threw her arm around me and said to Ryan, "Can you find something for her to do? I would love to just have her around." And he was like, "You know, there is a thing." And then I did 3 episodes of it that first season, and then he gave me the leading role the next year, and you know, everything kind of changed.
Wow.
So it was just a very, you know, had I gone to do the play, had it not fallen through, I have
Yeah.
no idea.
Which is an important lesson that sometimes things don't
It was
work
very
out.
sad to
Yeah.
me. I was very upset
Yeah.
and devastated, and I'd already like leased my car to someone and rented out my apartment, and it was like, oh, well, I'm not going now, so what am I going to do? And I wasn't working very much at the time at all, and it absolutely changed the course of my life.
That is always
Yeah.
incredible when you hear something like that, something falling apart and kind of
Yeah.
semi-despair that you'd be in leading
Yeah.
to something else.
Yeah.
It was
And
It's
it
an important
totally
reminder.
Yeah,
it is
that's
to
amazing.
persevere.
I love it. I was just telling someone, I think one of the greatest collaborations in entertainment in the last 40 years, 50 years is you and Ryan Murphy. It's
Aw,
absolutely fantastic.
That's so sweet.
I'll
I'll tell him you said so.
Please do, please
I
do.
will.
So much of this plot stems from a young man stealing the painting behind you guys. I'm curious, you guys have worked on some of the greatest sets, TV sets, movie sets of all time. What's the coolest thing you've ever taken from a set?
I don't know if it's the coolest, but for me it was the most personal. I stole Marsha Clark's lighter from The People vs. O.J.
Oh, why? Why?
Because I had it, she had talked in her book about a particular lighter that she had, and it had been engraved, and so I had them engrave this particular lighter with the thing, and so I took it when it
Was there a shot in the miniseries
I
of
don't
the
even, I mean, I
engraving?
used it every time I smoked,
Right.
and she smokes a boatload
Yeah.
in that, so I kept that. I kept my cane from Coven, which
Oh,
was
cool.
when I was blind.
Yeah.
The prop department found it was a shark's spine.
What?
That's cool.
Bone, and so that was the cane. So I've kept a couple
That's
good
so
things
cool.
like that.
That's so cool.
I've kept some wardrobe the last day just because I didn't want to take it off.
you just walked off
You're like,
set.
I gotta
I mean, really, I
I'm
was
so
too
sick of
tired
it.
to untie. But from the Royal Tenenbaums, Wes Anderson gave me this javelina head, which, I mean, Wes keeps everything, and still I'm shocked that he gave it to me. Very kind of him.
That's so
but
cool.
I didn't steal it, and I wouldn't have.
Right.
But I mean, that's one thing.
Well, because I've heard the studios can be fairly rigid
They
about taking
really
stuff.
are.
It depends on the
And
thing,
it-
and depends on where you are.
And
in the-
Warner's, I was just working for them on something else, but they have incredible bookkeepers.
Really? Did you walk away with something and they were like,
Well,
"You dear
yeah,
Lou"?
I asked,
We
you
need
know,
that crocodile
would
belt.
it be okay if I, kept something? I was like, no.
I gotta ask for forgiveness, man.
Right.
Not for permission.
Wow.
Oh, wow. This is one of those books that whenever I would tell people, oh, they're gonna make it into a movie, I got a lot of they better not screw it up. Because
Yeah,
it
you
means so
definitely
much to
got
people.
that.
What was a book in your life that when you found out they were gonna be making it into a movie, you thought, God, they better get this right?
The Goldfinch.
Oh, yeah? That was?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was yes. And I haven't seen it yet, so jury's out.
They did. I can tell you. I
I
have
haven't-
seen it.
okay, good.
I have seen it.
Good.
And if
Did
I
you read the
didn't
book?
think that, I did not read. In
Well,
fact,
then you don't know.
I know, but it's a
Sir,
good movie.
You don't. Well, that's all.
That's-
I definitely want that. But for
Yes.
the people out there who want to make sure they
Yeah.
didn't.
I ordered it on Amazon if that saves my
It's
case
too
at all.
late now. The movie will become.
This interview was going so well up to this point.
I'm trying to think of, I know that's happened with a few
Yeah.
books. It's like when you hear about somebody playing Elvis or something
Yes,
like
yes,
that. You
yes.
think it can't be done. Why are they doing that?
it,
There have
yeah.
definitely been a few books along the way where maybe like The Road, the Cormac McCarthy.
Oh my
yep,
God,
yep,
yeah.
yep,
Just
yep.
thought,
I thought they
how
did a
could
good
they
job with
ever
that.
do that? And how can they, find the kid that's as good as the kid?
Revolutionary Road was one too.
Yeah.
That I loved that
Yeah.
book, and I didn't see the movie because I was afraid.
Oh, interesting.
I was afraid. And they're all so wonderful.
Oh, yeah, they're-
yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure it's a great movie, but
Guys,
I'm scared.
you were always so kind to me, and I just want to say thank you for
Oh,
always
thank you.
making great work, which makes my life so much easier. Hopefully the questions weren't too weird, so thanks
No,
for
thanks.
thanks for having me.
Appreciate
And
it.
hopefully you won't have
Thank
to
you.
deal with that
Appreciate it.
Astros Cubs.
Oh my God,
I
well, hopefully in
know.
Astros, but hopefully not Cubs. Guys, take care.
Okay, see
Bye.
you.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
So much of this movie is about this idea of a watershed moment. That one moment in your life where everything comes before and everything comes after. It really
Yeah.
sort of ripples and affects to, you know, the idea of where you got today. What if you had to pinpoint one moment in your life that kind of got you to sort of sitting in that chair? Is there a particular moment that stands out to you?
That's a really difficult question to answer, honestly, because there's multiple that I could choose. My sister is an actor, and growing up, she did a lot of theater, and I always kind of looked up to her in that sense. And though, like watching her on stage is definitely a few of those moments that I was like, yeah, I mean, not only I could do that, but like I want to do that. And then a little bit more of that when I filmed Pete's Dragon.
Which is
obviously
fantastic, by the way.
I was very, thank you. I was very young, obviously, when I was filming that many years ago. But sitting up on those mountains in New Zealand and being able to film those scenes with some really fun people, it was just ultimately kind of left a big imprint in me. And New Zealand's a beautiful place.
Yeah, it
so-
is. Yes, it is. I would imagine
was
working with someone like Robert Redford makes you
Yeah.
go, I think I want to do this.
Yeah, no, he was hilarious on set.
That's
he
amazing.
was really, really fun.
So much of this movie stems from you sort of lifting that painting right there. I'm curious, you've been on some pretty cool sets in your lifetime. What's the coolest thing that you've lifted?
I don't think on set, I don't know. I did get some stuff from Pete's Dragon. I got a pair of rubber shoes. I know this sounds weird, but we had custom made basically fake feet for me so I could run around the forest without hurting myself. So we actually went into Weta Workshop and had them made, and then they like replicated them. And after I came back from New Zealand, I had got that, and I also got a compass, one of the prop compasses that my character Pete's Dragon wears. And then for this movie, I actually have two. I have a replica of the Goldfinch itself.
Do you
which is about
really?
this big.
That's awesome.
And then I also have a large print of it, which is really, really cool.
That's super cool.
both
Oh,
of
that's
them.
fantastic.
Awesome.
This is one of those books that whenever I would tell people, oh, they're making it into a movie,
Yeah.
I got a lot of like, oh, they better not screw it up. Because it means a
Yeah.
lot to a lot of people.
And that's a very good topic because it was a very difficult book, as I can imagine, to trim down into 2.5 hours. So it's a long movie,
Yeah,
but
it's a long book.
It's an incredibly long book, 700 or so pages or however long. Trimming that down to a film is obviously very difficult, where it could easily be made into like a 4-part miniseries
Yeah.
or such. But something really beautiful is about when you trim that down, it really dials up the intensity of it all, and it's all very harsh and very intense when you're watching it. And it's great to see that because you kind of don't necessarily have a chance to catch your breath after you just witness some things that happen in the film. And emotionally, it kind of catches you off guard, which is really beautiful.
Is there a book that was going to be adapted into a movie that you were nervous whenever you found out? You're like, oh God, they better get that right.
I don't know. That's a difficult one. I mean, of course, like Harry Potter's always one, but that's an easier one because you have so many books. I don't necessarily know. I did read the Divergent series a while back. I was a big fan of those, and those already I definitely was worried about seeing the movies. I think the movies had already maybe the first one came out before I had read the books. And when I read those, I was definitely a bit worried
Fair
that
enough.
it wasn't going to come together well.
Well, you guys
It did.
pulled this off so well, man, dude. Congratulations.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
we'll be
Thank you
chatting
very
many,
much.
many times over coming years, man.
Yes.
Really, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks
Nice
very
to
much.
meet
Nice to
you.
meet
Yeah.
you.